Loft Gym. Today we're going to be unboxing this SportBench from PowerBlock. Now PowerBlock sells 3 different benches. They have the travel bench, they have the SportBench, which this is, and they have the PowerBench. Now the travel bench is a folding bench, and the SportBench and the PowerBench are identical in form factor, but the PowerBench is rated for 1,000 pounds, whereas the SportBench is only rated for 550. The reason I have this bench here is because I ordered it as part of the Stage 3 gym package. So that's the bench they include, and that's what we have here. I tend to order things from the same brand all the time. For example, Loft Gym has been primarily Titan fitness equipment. You can see the mass storage here in the background. I have their 41-inch folding rack, their pull-up bar, their dip station, 2 of their barbells, actually 3 of their barbells, and so on. So once I pick a brand, I tend to stick with them through thick and thin. Now Titan Fitness does have a bench. I tried that, I've been down that road, watched my other videos for what happened there. It was not successful. So let's get to it. Let's see how PowerBlock compares. See, they have a box in a box, which is kind of nice. And actually the handles on the outer box match up perfectly with the inner box. Very pleased with the packaging so far. The bench comes mostly assembled. Both the seats are on, the adjustable frame is on, the adjuster for the lower seat's on, the pin for the lower seat, and they do have the legs that need to be attached to the bench, and those are zip tied to the back right here. Okay. So here's the back legs, and the wheels are actually even attached. Here's the front foot. Here's the back side with the wheels. Here's all the hardware you need. Okay, here's a close-up of all the pieces that come in the box. The hardware. The back bar with the wheels already attached. And the front leg. Here's a close-up of the welds and the powder coat. See, there's just a little bit of shipping, wear and tear. Wait for the camera to focus there. Here's how the underside of the bench looks. There's a spot for a chin attachment, or I should say the position that you should have the back in for the dip or the chin when you get the optional pull-up bar or the dip station. Here I just want to show you what the finish looks like up close. And the welds. Okay, let's flip it over and take a look at the actual seat before we begin assembly. I've flipped the bench over, so let's take a look at the seat pads and what they look like. As you can see, it's not just a regular vinyl. It looks like a little bit of a carbon fiber type print. There's white stitching and there's trim all around the bottom of both pads. Here we have PowerBlock, and it's actually embroidered into this liner here that goes over the top of the pad. It feels grippy, kind of rubbery and soft and supportive. So I'm quite pleased with the pad. As you can see, there's a profile to it, both the seat and the back, where it gets wider at the lower back position and narrower at the shoulders and head. At the back, you can see everything is pre-assembled again. The adjustable frame here in the back is held down with a screw, and there's another reinforcement pin at the middle, and the bottom is this thick metal bar. There may be a screw going through there, without taking these rubber caps off. I couldn't tell you, but take a good look at the welds that are at each adjustment location. And you can see also that these pieces are properly centered on the seat, on the bench frame right here. So overall, minimal shipping damage, fully assembled out of the box, or I should say almost fully assembled out of the box, and great quality padding. So I'm quite pleased with what I see so far. Okay, now that we got a closer look at the bench in the disassembled state, let's begin the process of assembly. Here's how the instruction manual comes. There's a kind of a stiff decal that will go on the legs there, and the instruction manual. As you can imagine, with only 4 bolts, it's not that complicated. Step 1 is to attach the wheels to the back, and step 2 will be to attach the front foot to the front. So there are 4 bolts, as I mentioned, 2 longer and 2 shorter. The shorter bolts go in the back here. They're M10, 1.5 millimeter by 75 millimeter, and for the front, they're M10s 1.5 millimeter by 90 millimeter. So you can go with a 17 millimeter or an 11/16 socket or wrench, whatever you have, to put the bolts and the nuts on. I'm going to use 2 75 millimeter bolts with some washers. Now I'm choosing to put the bolt heads on this side because that's where the handle for the lower seat is. So kind of keep this side all nice and clean, and then this side will have the nuts on it. Put our washers on this side. And then take our nylon nuts and tighten them on with 2 17 millimeter sockets. back side's done. Let's move on to the front. Okay, the front foot mounts to these two holes here. And they recommend in the instructions having the bench the right side up, but so you can see everything a little bit better, I have it upside down. The front foot mounts with these longer 90mm bolts with washers. And the nylon nuts. So put the washer on. Secure it with the nut. And same thing for the front bolt. Again, these bolts are also 17mm, so we'll continue to use our 17mm sockets on the two ratchets. That's it. That's all it takes for assembly. 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the back. Okay, let me quickly go over the operation of this bench. It's pretty self-explanatory, but to adjust the back, you use this adjustable frame. You just lift the seat up and you slide it in whatever notch you want. Now what they recommend is to always adjust the lower seat first, and then adjust the bench. And then when you want to go in reverse, you want to put the bench down, you would put the bench down, and then come here and lock the seat portion up. The seat portion, as you saw me operate, just works with this pin, where you have it out of the way for when you want to have an incline bench, and have it rest in the notches down here when you want a flat bench. Pretty easy. I also like the fact that they have a built-in handle here to wheel the bench around. That's very easy and convenient. Okay, let's talk about some of the reasons that I ordered this bench and I like this bench. Now, what I like about this bench, first of all, is the dimensions. It is 16 inches off the floor, which is perfect for a bench. That's where you want to be when you are flat benching, right? You can put your feet flat on the ground, get that nice drive off your feet. Some of the benches come, at 18 or even 20 inches high, and it's just too high, especially if you're a woman or you have shorter legs or just a shorter stature. You want a lower bench. Then you can see there's no extra length really at all to this bench. The feet here end almost where the pad ends, and the leg here ends where the pad ends. So you don't have any extra length to add to the bench. This makes it great for a small compact space, like this loft gym. It's not that big, so this bench is going to be great for moving around, getting it out of the way when I'm squatting or doing something else in the rack. So the size, the overall dimensions are great, the height is great. I would say one of the bigger shortcomings of the bench would be that there's no decline position. That is as declined as you're going to get, and there's nowhere to secure your legs, right? That would be the only downside for me, but obviously it's not in the description of the bench. It's not a decline bench. We know that when we order it. But I do wish that they had the option for decline. One suggestion that I would make to PowerBlock is just get a leg attachment here. That way you can flip this back up, lock your legs in here if you need to, get the lower cushion out of the way, and there you go. Have enough space to do some sit-ups or some decline work. That would be nice. They do have, like I mentioned, a dip attachment, a pull-up attachment, so why not a place to secure your legs so you can use it as a sit-up bench. That would be great. Other than that, great first impressions. The vinyl looks perfect to me, great. I don't see any imperfections whatsoever. The material appears to be of high quality. The bench feels very sturdy. The finish is great. And the operation is easy. So far I'm very pleased. One area of concern for me is the lack of rubber feet on the bench. You can see I have hardwood floor in addition to the stall mat here. So when I get the bench out of the way onto the hardwood floor, I'm concerned about the scratches. We'll see if I can come up with anything to solve that. But again, that's something I knew going in when I ordered it, that there were no rubber feet on this bench. But that's something to keep in mind if it's important to you. Okay, one other thing I noticed here is the side-to-side play of the back ped. I hope you can see that on camera, but let me turn the bench around so you can see it head on. Here's the side-to-side play. The bench is flat on the ground. This is just a play in the back pad. I'm going to try to tighten the pivot a little bit down below to see if we can resolve that. Okay, that nut was very loose. This is much better, much tighter. You can see there's a little bit of play here in the seat as well. Give that a snug. Okay, you can see no issue at all with the pivoting still, and it's much better. So keep that in mind. Yours may come a little bit loose like mine did. No big deal, just tighten a couple of nuts and you're good to go. So far I'm very pleased. Stay tuned to more videos about this bench. I will review it in detail once I have some time and opportunity to use it and experience what it's all about. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the unboxing assembly video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, like and subscribe. Thanks a lot and see you next time.